Fact over feelings in the workplace. How do you handle it? Well, strategically. I had an individual approach me, quite concerned, stating that an individual on her team never answered the phone. Now, it should be noted that this was a team of 4. They all worked the same shift. They all had identical roles and responsibilities. Before I responded officially, I challenged that statement just a bit. And I said, okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that this individual never answers the phone, but never is a strong word. So how did today go? Think back to the last 5-6 hours in the shift today. Think about everybody on the team, the workflow, what was occurring. Do you recall this individual answering the phone at all today? So she reflected, thought about it for a minute, and then said, no, you're right. I would say out of, the 5-6 hours or so that this individual did in fact answer the phone twice. I said, okay, that's great. I just wanted you to be very certain with your own statement and your own observations that they were in fact correct as far as how you were perceiving them. So answering the phone twice in one day is more than never answering the phone. However, we're definitely going to look into this. So if you just give me a few days, I will circle back with some details. So of course, anytime something like this happens, it's always amazing if you have something to measure. And thankfully in this case, we did in fact have data from our phone system that could be pulled. So after pulling the data, looking to see how many times each team member answered the phone, in addition to the duration of calls, we could see a clearer picture. And what was somewhat shocking is that the individual that was alleged to have never answered the phone, in fact, was the individual who answered the phone the most on the team. So I don't entirely know where this observation or concern came from. I do believe that it wasn't out of malice. When you think about it, everybody is doing their own thing. So oftentimes, during a workday, they're completely engaged in their own workflow and not necessarily paying attention to the pace of others. So when looking up, it could appear that somebody else may or may not be doing something, and you're taking an inventory of that, a snapshot at that moment in time. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is fact, which again is why it's always great to have different metrics that you're tracking, whether it be for efficiency, profitability, volume. In business, there are so many ebbs and flows. There's highs and lows. And we oftentimes forget some of these nuances. We're human. But when an individual has a concern of such, and they believe it wholeheartedly, if you as a manager or a business owner don't have anything to come back with to either validate what's going on or shed some light as to the inner workings and the operations of the team, that negativity, that belief will fester and it will become cancerous in your organization. So that's why it's important to not only meet these concerns immediately with things that can be proven versus interpreted. So black and white, no gray area. Doesn't mean that they have to agree with it, doesn't mean that they have to like it. But when you can honestly prove something and you make these metrics and these statistics and this data transparent, you have no choice but to respect it. In addition, something really wonderful came out of this. After having this conversation, we gave all of the individuals on the team access to this data so they could see how the days of the week go, how the weeks of the month go, how the months of the year go, and so forth. So after they were able to see the ebbs and flows of the business, they were able to see, based on their workflow, when things would be high volume or low volume. It wasn't a guessing game. They could gauge it, which gave them security, which gave them additional knowledge, which gave them peace, which allowed them to prepare for each work day or work week with actual numbers, intelligently versus emotionally. Managing a team is not easy. You're dealing with multiple personalities and multiple motives. Everybody wants something different out of this engagement. So that's why having real, auditable data that is transparent to the organization is key. It builds trust.